Your brain is overwhelmed, noisy, and unfocused. You try to meditate, you try to disconnect, but the mental fog persists. What if I told you the answer to finally silencing the noise has been validated by Stanford researchers? And they found a solution in a simple gesture, one that is accessible to everyone. So simple that you will need just a pen and a piece of paper in your hand. The truth is that a simple act of picking up a pen and putting the first word on paper forces your brain to reorganize. It synchronizes the emotion center, the amygdala, with the reasoning center, the prefrontal cortex. This is neuroplasticity in action, proving you can essentially hit the reset button on your nervous system. Today, we're going to dive into the science that shows how your notebook becomes a powerful tool for healing and mental clarity. Imagine your brain has two neighbors who rarely talk to each other. On one side, there's the emotional region, the one that reacts fast, feels everything intensely, sometimes screams without words. On the other side, there's the reasoning region, the one that tries to organize, plan, understand. Day to day, these two neighbors live disconnected. The emotional side floods the system with signals, while the rational side attempts, often in vain, to isolate itself and maintain control. And you're stuck in the middle, trying to make sense of the chaos. But when you write about what you feel, something changes. Stanford researchers observed this in 2021. When people practiced expressive writing, simply putting their feelings on paper, brain scans showed something fascinating. The emotional and rational regions started to synchronize, as if the brain finally learned to talk to itself. Internal dialogue, real, measurable. And there's even a name for this: affect labeling. When you put words to your emotions, a specific part of your brain, the ventrolateral prefrontal cortex, activates. And that activation calms the amygdala, that region that fires when you're anxious or overwhelmed. The act of naming the feeling acknowledges its presence, allowing the brain to process it and shift from panic to peace. By the way, if you want a structured space to put these reflections into practice, I created Here, Now, and Better, an intentional planner designed as a 4-step journey to guide you back to yourself. It's 72 pages where you'll find self-care practices, reflections on the past year, space for your dreams, gratitude challenges, and tools to realign your habits. It's a digital file you can print wherever you prefer, at home or at any print shop. And with this small gesture, you also directly support this channel, allowing me to keep creating content that makes sense for you. Link in the description. There are 3 practices that, each in their own way, open different doors within you. First path: expressive writing. Think of something you still carry, a disappointment, a loss, that moment that keeps coming back when you least expect it. Grab your notebook. Give yourself 15, maybe 20 minutes, and simply write about it, without worrying about grammar, without editing. Write only for yourself. Write until the words run out. This is called expressive writing. And it works because the brain treats unprocessed emotions as unfinished tasks. They sit there, in the background, consuming energy. When you write, you complete the cycle. Studies show that after expressive writing, the emotional centers of the brain calm down, and cognitive control increases. You might cry. You might feel tired. You might want to stop halfway. That's okay. Healing sometimes asks for a little discomfort before the calm returns. And here's something important. You don't need to find solutions while you write. You don't need to have deep insights or reach brilliant conclusions. Sometimes, writing the weight is simply acknowledging that it exists, giving it space to be seen, to be felt, without the pressure of having to fix it immediately. There's a difference between suppressing an emotion and digesting it. When you suppress, it comes back stronger. When you digest, through writing, for example, it transforms into something you can carry differently. Second path, writing what sustains. Now imagine a different kind of page. Instead of pain, you fill it with presence. Write down 2 or 3 things you're grateful for today. The smell of rain, a message that arrived when you needed it, a meal that made you feel at home. Gratitude retrains your attention. Neuroscientists discovered that practicing gratitude activates brain regions that regulate mood and motivation. When you do this daily, you teach your brain to look for what's stable, instead of only what threatens. But be specific. I'm grateful for my friend should become something like, I'm grateful for the way my friend listened, even when I had no words. Each detail helps anchor the memory, and your brain starts building new emotional associations over time. And gratitude works like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the more natural it becomes. And this matters because by default, our brain tends to focus on what's wrong, what's missing, what threatens. When you write gratitude every day, you're literally reconfiguring your internal alarm system. You're telling your brain, look, this exists here too. Beauty exists too. Support exists too. And over time, you start paying attention and developing sensitivity to simple things in your life. Third path, writing what transforms. Start with a challenge, something that confused you, frustrated you. Write what happened, without judgment, just the facts. Then write what it meant, what it revealed, and also what it taught you. And finally, write one small action you can take next time. This practice strengthens the brain regions that regulate emotional reactivity. You learn to pause and reinterpret before reacting. You connect to understand. And over time, you start seeing difficulties as data points for growth. This subtle shift transforms how your brain responds to future stress. And you know what's the difference between someone who grows with challenges and someone who breaks with them? Often, it's simply the ability to extract meaning. When you transform a difficult experience into learning through writing, you're doing something powerful. You're taking away the power of pain to define you. That happened. It was hard. And now you choose what to do with it. That choice, small, repeated day after day, is what builds real resilience. You choose which of these practices to use each day. Each practice strengthens a different circuit of awareness. And over weeks, months, you'll notice subtle changes. Your handwriting on paper becomes the trace of a mind learning to heal itself. Each word you put on paper, a small act of neuroplasticity, a quiet experiment in honesty and adaptation. And it's in this moment that you discover something simple but powerful. By writing, you talk to the deepest part of yourself. And this is the most important conversation you can have. Not with the world, not with other people's expectations, but with that quiet voice inside you that always knew what you needed.